In Savannah, the city is under a curfew until 7 tomorrow morning. Mayor Van Johnson says despite today's peaceful protest, he put the curfew in place to make sure citizens, visitors, and property stay safe. He says the curfew will remain in place for as long as it's needed.
Well, shortly after the curfew was put in place, several incidents broke out downtown. News 3 has crews monitoring the latest developments around Savannah. We begin with WSAV News 3's Joanne Merrigan live from City Hall with more on the mayor's decision. Joanne.
Well, hello, Edward. You know, Mayor Johnson made it very clear tonight that after the sun went down, he did not want to see any problems after what he called a great day, a peaceful protest, and people coming together. But there were some issues at City Market and at Broughton Street when they did try to clear people when the curfew started at 8:30. We'll talk more about that with the other crews later. For now, we want to show you some video that we took along here on Bay Street. This is just shortly after 8:30 as protesters were moving along the street and officials were trying to clear them, again, just shortly after 8:30. The mayor had told reporters that he had decided to have this curfew after he saw a number of concerns, including some things posted on social media, including the fact that some people who had reportedly caused problems in Charleston were maybe on their way here. Well, he said he was not going to allow property damage in the city if he could help it, and he talked to reporters about the need for the curfew.
The night is here, and so we want to make sure we're extra vigilant. Now, I understand and know that this is uncomfortable for folks, but we want to make sure that we're not taking any chances. We want to make sure that as we see folks on the street, we have the ability to ask them who they are and where they're going.
And as you can see, the streets are really deserted at this point. We did have a police presence here, quite a large police presence here at City Hall up until about 20-30 minutes ago, but even the police have now left this scene. Again, the streets are deserted. The mayor also talked about the fact that for folks who he says have legitimate purposes for being on the streets, he says you won't be hassled. That includes maybe going to work before 7 a.m. tomorrow. And again, he says the curfew will remain in effect for as long as officials think it's necessary to protect property and the city. Reporting now live from City Hall, I'm Joanne Merrigan, WSAV News 3 on your side.
Joanne, thank you. WSAV News 3's Alex Bozargian has been monitoring City Market, and she is continuing our team coverage. Alex?
Well, Tina, a very different scene here tonight than what we saw earlier. Right now, we're virtually seeing only law enforcement roaming the streets, but that was a very different story just a few hours ago. Protesters got real confrontational with police. Luckily, they were able to defuse that situation. Now, take a look at this video. Dozens of protesters, some in full face masks, yelling at police. The confrontation lasted about 15 minutes and at one point got physical. Savannah Police and Georgia State Patrol had the area surrounded while National Guard was standing by in other parts of downtown. This is exactly what Mayor Van Johnson was trying to avoid. Yesterday, he said in his press briefing not to let your behavior betray your purpose. We spoke to one gentleman who reminded us exactly what that purpose is.
Our founding fathers told us that all men are created equal, but that's not the way that's being treated in this nation. Black men, people of color, definitely don't have it equal to me. They don't have it equal to other white people, and we need to stand up as white people, as people that don't have that violence coming against us, to stand with our black brothers and sisters.
Well, things are real calm here in City Market. WSAV's Kelly Antonacci is picking up our team coverage. She's over at Ellis Square.
And Alex, just about half an hour ago, Ellis Square was packed with Georgia State Patrol cars. Those troopers were patrolling the area to make sure everyone was following that curfew. Right now, this place is pretty empty, but those troopers were pretty busy earlier tonight during a standoff on Broughton and Drayton Streets. Those protesters joined hands, you can see there, and blocked a crosswalk there. GSP and the Savannah Police Department parked in that street until about 8:30 when the curfew officially went into effect. At that point, most protesters walked away. A few, though, refused to leave, and that's when it got tense during a standoff between protesters and the police. Officers were ready with that tear gas as protesters stood in the middle of the street with their hands up, and after several calls to disperse, all protesters eventually went away. As far as we could see, all of that ended peacefully, and police did not spray any tear gas. Live in Ellis Square, Kelly Antonacci, WSAV News 3 on your side.
Kelly, thank you.